All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about something that I think a lot of us have felt, maybe even right now. It's this strange paradox where you're working harder than ever, but you're getting absolutely nothing to show for it. So let's figure out what's really going on.
I mean, seriously, have you ever had this feeling? You're putting in all the hours, you're checking all the boxes, you're pushing and pushing with everything you've got, and it feels like you're just spinning your wheels. It's like your life just refuses to budge. It's so frustrating, and it can make you feel like you're going crazy.
And that right there, that is what we're calling the hard work paradox. It's this totally baffling situation where there's this huge gap between the massive effort you're putting out and the results you're seeing, which, in this case, is pretty much zero.
Okay, so to get why this happens, we're actually going to borrow an idea from physics, of all places. It's called destructive interference, and it is the perfect way to understand this internal battle. It's basically what happens when two waves that are equal in strength but totally opposite crash into each other. They just, poof, they cancel each other out. So think about it like this. Your conscious goal, wanting that promotion, trying to grow your business, that's a really powerful positive wave of energy. It's you sending out this peak of intention and effort into the universe. But, and here's the kicker, at the very same time, you might have this deep, subconscious belief working against you. It's that quiet little voice in the back of your head saying, I'm not good enough for that, or I'm just going to fail again anyway. And that belief creates its own wave, an equal and opposite trough of negative energy. So when all is said and done, what does reality actually see? It doesn't see your hard work plus your fear. It just sees the cold, hard math. It sees a +1 plus a -1, which equals 0, a flat line. All that effort, all that energy just gets canceled out. And you're stuck, right back where you started. So yeah, let's dig into this a little deeper. We can actually think of this as the physics of failure. We're going to try and understand these anti-waves, these hidden forces inside us that are literally working against the very things we want most.
And this brings up a really big question, right? If you're consciously trying so hard to be positive, why does that little negative belief feel so powerful? Why does it seem to have this incredible magnetic pull on your life?
Well, the difference in power is huge, and it comes down to this. A simple thought is not the same thing as a deep-seated belief. A positive thought? That's kind of like a light electrical signal. It's just a little flicker. But a belief, especially one that's tied to an emotion like fear, oh, that's a whole different animal. That has a massive magnetic pull that literally shapes the world around you.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? I mean, you can sit and do a 5-minute positive visualization, and that's great. But if for the other 23 hours and 55 minutes of the day, you're carrying around this heavy, underlying belief that you're just not worthy, well, that 5 minutes of effort is going to get totally steamrolled. It doesn't stand a chance.
So if we want to go even deeper into why this negativity feels so much heavier, we can grab another wild idea from quantum physics. It's inspired by the famous double-slit experiment, and it's all about the surprising power of just watching something.
Okay, here's the wild part. One of the core ideas in quantum mechanics is that tiny particles exist in this cloud of pure possibility until they're observed. The second you look at them, all those different possibilities collapse into one single real outcome. This simple act of observation literally creates reality. It's mind-bending, I know.
Now, here's how this connects back to you. Your deepest, most self-destructive belief is acting as the observer of your life. So when a fantastic opportunity, a quantum possibility shows up, your belief is watching it, but it's watching through this filter of doubt. And that act of observation forces that opportunity to collapse into the only outcome that belief expects, failure. You sabotage the interview, you miss the deadline, and you don't even realize your own belief is what made it happen?
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. But here's the good news. You are not stuck here. Not at all. We can actually shift from this state of internal conflict to a state of coherence. It's all about learning how to shift your internal wave pattern. Let's look at how to do it. The exact opposite of destructive interference is, you guessed it, constructive interference. This is what we're aiming for. This is what happens when your conscious goals and your subconscious beliefs are finally on the same page. They become two waves that are perfectly aligned, and they don't cancel each other out. They amplify each other, creating a result that's way more powerful than you could ever achieve on your own. This chart just lays it all out so clearly. You've got 3 states you can be in.
There's the state of conflict, which gives you that destructive interference, and that's when you feel like you're working so hard for nothing. Then there's the neutral state, where there's really no wave at all, just feeling stuck or bored. But then there's coherence. That's where you get constructive interference. And that's when you start to experience what feels like miracles, or things just happening with this sense of effortless flow.
So how do we actually get there? How do we get to that state of coherence? Let's talk strategy. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps you can start using right away to shift your internal state. The strategy is actually pretty straightforward. First things first, you have to stop pushing when you feel that internal resistance. Second, we're going to use a special visualization technique to start reprogramming that subconscious mind. And third, you have to consciously change what you choose to observe in your daily life. Let's break that down a little. When you feel that deep, negative beliefs start to bubble up, the most important thing to do is to stop pushing against it. Pushing harder just makes the negative wave stronger. So just pause. Then you can use a technique like the silver method to visualize. But here's the key. Focus on the feeling of already having what you want. The emotion is what speaks to the subconscious, not logic. And finally, you have to start actively looking for and celebrating the small wins. By observing success, no matter how tiny, you start to create and stabilize that new pattern. You're telling the universe, this is the reality I'm paying attention to now. And that really brings us to the final thought here. If your deepest belief is the observer, the force that collapses all of the infinite possibilities of your life into one single reality, well, that means the power has been yours this whole time. So the only real question left is, what reality are you going to choose to create?